Don't Look Up on Netflix was the Marmite of holiday viewing 2021. If you haven't seen it yet, the cast is stellar. Meryl Streep's doing her best Trump impression. Jonah Hill plays our chief of staff and slightly over-attached son in the most Oedipal sense of the word. Leonardo DiCaprio plays a low-level astronomer, aka America's sexiest scientist. And Jennifer Lawrence plays his weed-smoking, batwing-toting PhD grad who discovers a mountain-sized planet-killer comet on an imminent collision crash course with the planet Earth. The movie begins here and follows Leo and Jenny's characters as they try to communicate the gravity of the situation to a cynical and apathetic world. Human behaviour then ensues with hilarious and terrifying consequences. The dark and bone-dry political humour in this film had me cackling my witchy little tits off. Between Jennifer Lawrence's obsession with free snacks guy and Rob Morgan's anecdote about Sting, this movie has cemented my resolution to only watch doomsday movies which are cut with a sense of humour which an Irish person can appreciate. Life is hard, and if you're not showing me the funny side, I am not here for additional gloom in fictional form. I'd rather be stood in the fields trying to communicate telepathically with cattle. Don't Look Up had me actual crying the first time I watched it. I watched it for a second time just a few hours later, and I didn't cry that time when I knew what to expect, but I was still laughing my ass off, as well as catching little details I didn't get the first time round, such as the fine print on some of the movie's media graphics and in the space debris scene near the end. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm actually trying to do this without spoilers, which I haven't done in a film review before, hence the vagueness. In my opinion, the film does a really good job of following the journey of these two hapless scientists as they negotiate Dante's 9 circles of hell, namely bureaucracy, politics, media, anxiety, loneliness, conspiracy theories, mass hysteria, existential turmoil, and unpopular science. As someone who spent time as a frontline political activist and who ended up with a case of serious bureaucratic burnout, as well as a knowing sense of nihilistic fatalism, I appreciate the no-holds-barred take on what happens when science predicts something that's difficult for people to swallow, and the struggle in trying to make that information more palatable to the general public. Both Leo and Jennifer's performances at times reminded me of Mark Wahlberg's existential breakdown in I Heart Huckabees, which I love. I could honestly talk for hours about the themes of this movie, although I have no experience in filmmaking myself yet, so my opinions on that front don't actually mean anything. Don't Look Up was written by Adam McKay of Saturday Night Live fame. That's some American thing, I don't know, to me it seems like a televised East Coast incubator for comedy writers. Correct me if I'm wrong. What McKay has managed to produce here, with no shortage of experience in media himself, which makes it extra snarky, is a shadow government satire. I just made that up, so I call copyright dibs. In a similar league to The Men Who Stare at Goats or Born After Reading, but with much higher stakes. One of the criticisms that I've heard is that the presidential staff are too flat and 2D, like cartoon villains who have no redeeming qualities. However, a quick Google search tells me that no less than 17 presidential candidates have appeared on Saturday Night Live during its broadcast history. Adam McKay likely observed and crossed paths with several of those. Maybe they came across to him like the single-faceted, success-driven caricatures we see in Don't Look Up. What if he's trying to warn us that the people in charge of our future are no more than glorified political beauty pageant winners? Is someone looking into that, actually? What truly fascinates me about this movie is how much it's dividing audiences right across the board. I loved it so much I watched it twice in a row. I haven't done that since I managed to record Dirty Dancing onto VHS when I was about 9, so I could watch Patrick Swayze jump back onto that stage where he belongs. Nobody puts Paddy in the corner. Leonardo DiCaprio said he took this movie on because he was delighted to find a project which so clearly illustrated the struggle against climate change, which is apparently his thing. And I agree that it was a very accurate, very entertaining success on that front. If you want to see the stage of population control psychology that our world governments are at, this is a pretty good bite-sized glimpse of some of that. Don't come at me if you don't believe governments are more concerned about manipulating you into passive submission than they are about helping you to achieve your fullest potential in life. Because if that's the case, we're gonna need a whole other video. But the real surprise came when I decided to share the news of what I thought would be a universally acclaimed film with my Facebook friends. And to my surprise, several people vehemently disagreed. It's not that they kinda disliked it, they actually hated it. Just like the chasm between the movie's look-uppers and don't-look-uppers, the comment thread was admittedly leaning in favour of the film, but I couldn't help wonder, behind the vocal minority of people who hated it, how many more just scrolled on because they didn't want to speak up. So let me know what you thought of it, and if you hated it, why? Was it the cynical politicism, the old "a space comet is gonna kill us all" trope? The delinquency or flatness of the characters, maybe? Or did you just not like the writing style? I actually may not be able to sleep tonight if I don't get answers. And also, very important, if you know of any more shadow government satire, I require your suggestions in the comments, please. I'm sure there have to be some obscure old ones knocking around somewhere that I haven't found yet. Like, surely art house cinema has ventured into this territory at some point, and I want to see it. Just remember, it needs to be funny, like getting out by a Bronto Rock funny. I am prepared to go as far as Men in Black level of mainstream as well. That shit is funny. By the way, if you're enjoying Don't Look Up, make sure not to switch off during the closing credits. There is a final scene at the end that a lot of people are missing, and it's... So hit subscribe if you want to see more movie adventures with me, Tara Tyne, your resident ditch witch. I don't intend to do a lot of these, but I am open to suggestion because I do love movies. And hit the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload. Usually every Thursday, but there will be more this year. I have plans. Slán agus bannach, goodbye and good luck to you.